Our theme today is about Jesus is amazing. And one of the things that the lesson said is, can you share something that happened to you this week that was amazing? And I bet Miss Michelle is going to talk about that a little bit later. So, but I wanted to share something, so I thought about it and I thought, what happened to me this week that was amazing? And one of the things, actually there were several things that were amazing, but I'm just going to share one, is we got to go visit a family. And they have a young man, he's 25 years old, and he has autism. Maybe some of you know what autism is. And there's all levels. But this man has a pretty strong case of autism. And even though he's 25 years old, he has to live at home and he has to be watched and taken care of all the time. But Tipper, that's what Tipper is learning how to do. He's learning to be a service dog for people. One of the things is for people with autism. So it was really fun. It was really amazing that Tipper and this young man got together and they did some really cool stuff. And so I'm going to show you one of the things that they did. So Tipper, wake up, buddy. Stand. So this is a button, just like Gregory said, and you can record a little message into it, and then when you hit it, it plays back. So this young man, he recorded a message, and then he asked Tipper to bump it. So bump.
Good boy, Tipper. You did a treat for me.
What?
Okay. He said, "Good boy, Tipper. You get a treat from me."
Aww.
So when Tipper would bump the bump, okay, this little button, you want him to do it again? Want it so you can hear it again?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Tipper, come over here. Back up, back. Okay. All right, Tipper, bump.
Good boy, Tipper. You did a treat for me.
He sounds a little funny in that thing.
Well, he has autism, see?
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, remember? And so they had so much fun together, and to me that was amazing. And I think, and it was really cool that I felt like God kind of like got us all together to do that. And then another thing, just one more thing, is his mom said, you know, he loves to have pressure put on his feet. Some people, especially people with autism, and other types of people too, if they get anxious or panicky, if you put pressure on them or give them a hug or put something heavy on them, it helps them calm down. And so this young man, he liked pressure on his feet. So this is what I got Tipper to do. Tipper, wake up, come on, stand up, buddy. Okay, so I didn't know if he would do this or not, but I said, so, and I'm going to pretend that I'm this young man. Tipper, come here. Now pressure, pressure.
Aw.
Good boy. Good boy, can you do it better? Yes, that's good. And you know, Tipper is a heavy guy. So I feel that. That was pressure. And so this man sat down on the floor and he did this with Tipper for about 10 minutes. And we said, do you like that? Does it feel good? And he goes, his voice got really relaxed and he goes, yes.
Aw.
It was really amazing, okay? And even Tipper enjoyed it too. They were both having this time together. So that's my little lead in to the story. All right, Tipper, release. Good job. Good job. You want to settle over here? So let's read what Jesus did that was so amazing. Let's talk about that. He's waiting for his treat.
He's like,
I may forget, but Tipper doesn't forget. All right, settle. Settle. All right, good. Hope you're not going to fall off the edge. Okay. So today's story is the miraculous catch of fish. And
I found it, by the way.
oh, good, good. Okay, in a minute or two, I'm going to have you read. So it involves 4 fishermen, all right? And maybe tell me if you recognize their names. Let's see. Like this.
4 fishermen.
man, his name starts with a P.
Peter.
Yes, so Peter was one of them? All right. It was two sets of brothers, okay? So one set of brothers was Peter and Andrew. Sometimes they call him in the Bible Simon or Simon Peter. Simon Peter and Andrew were one set of brothers, and the other set of brothers were James and John. And they knew each other, their families, they lived in the same town, and they were fishermen. And so it wasn't just for fun, like maybe who in here has fished before?
Oh, no. Yeah.
Have you ever caught a fish?
No.
Anybody caught a fish?
I can't remember.
How long is that?
haven't caught a fish.
I caught a boot.
You caught a what?
A boot.
A boot?
Yes.
Did it taste good?
Yes.
I caught a fish when I was little. The cousins helped me do it.
Yeah, so it's pretty exciting to catch a fish, isn't it?
Yeah.
But these
I'm
guys-
not that
Don't
good
put
at it,
it-
you know.
no.
My sister and brother, they kind of love worms.
Oh, yeah, you gotta use worms, okay. Well,
I
these,
got a bunch
Here's my
of fish.
fish.
I got catfish that we could eat, but we couldn't eat it.
oh, okay, okay.
My little brother Ethan loves worms so much. He's like, no, don't let Fishy eat worms.
He's like, I wanna save the worm, forget about the fish, yeah.
I got a fish with a string and a hook, and
Ah,
I set it in the water.
it's fun, it's really fun to go.
And Eli did it with no bait.
Oh, okay.
Good job, Eli.
All right, so I'm gonna move on with our story. So these guys fish too, but you probably did yours with a pole and a line. But these guys used these big nets. Like maybe if you threw this whole net out, it would be as big as this room. Whew, and so they
I
would
could catch
throw
a whale shark.
they would throw these out. They would go out in their boat and they would have to row, or they would use a sail. They'd put up a sail if there was a wind, and they'd sail out. And they would throw these big heavy nets over and let them sink into the water, and the fish would swim into the nets and get trapped. And then every once in a while they'd go, "Is it time yet?" I don't know if they had watches. They probably didn't have watches. They went, "Okay, let's pull up the net." And they pull up the net and see if they caught any fish. It's hard work, and they did this for a living. They would fish at night because that's when the fish were the most active and would swim around. Then they'd bring their catch into land, and they'd beach their boats, and they'd sort their fish out, and then they'd take them to market and sell them, and that's how they made a living. Well, so, remember, what are the guys again?
Matthew, Peter, James,
Wait, not Matthew,
James,
Andrew.
James, John.
Andrew.
Peter and Andrew, yes, very good, okay. So, Peter and Andrew went out and they fished all night. And so throwing it in, waiting a while, pulling them back, pulling the nets back in, no fish. Okay, let's do it again. They did this over and over and over again. That's hard work. I mean, remember I told you that these nets are really big? And so they came in, and you think they were discouraged?
yeah.
Yeah, so no money today. No, maybe they couldn't buy groceries, okay? So they're sitting on the beach, and up walks Jesus. Here's Jesus in the white robe. And
Who's those two people behind him?
those are, I think there are two of his followers, okay? So two of the people who are following. So Jesus had a crowd, and these were people who had come to hear Jesus preach and teach. And so they're on the beach too. But the problem is when you're down low on the beach and you're trying to talk, a lot of people can't see you and your voice can't carry very good. So he asked Simon Peter, he said, "Hey, I'm going to get in your boat, and I'd like you to push out away from the bank, and now I can preach and everybody can hear me." So let's read that part in the Bible. I think it's verse 3. You want to read it, Ellen?
Oh, I thought it was verse 5.
No, it's verse 3. And so it's chapter 5, verse 3.
Oh, chapter 5, verse 3.
Okay.
Jesus got into one of the boats,
the one which belonged to Simon. Jesus asked Simon to push off a little from the land. Then Jesus sat down in the boat and continued to teach the people on the shore.
Very good. Nice reading, Ellie. Okay, so Jesus went out and he stood up in the boat and he preached to the people on the shore. And everybody could hear him really well. And then after a while, he preached for a while, and then they brought the boat back in, and the people went away. Okay? Sort of like the sermon was over. Okay? Then Jesus asked Simon to do a very difficult thing, maybe like strange thing. Okay? Maybe it was an amazing thing. Let's see. All right. Do you want to read verse 4 and 5? Would you like to do that, Ellie?
Okay, verse 4 and 5 of chapter 5.
The same chapter, yeah.
When Jesus had finished speaking, he said to Simon, "Take the boat into deep water. If you will put your nets in the water, you will catch some fish." Simon answered, "Master, we worked hard all night trying to catch fish. They caught nothing. You say to put the nets in the water, so I will."
All right, very good. So what was the strange thing that Jesus asked Simon to do?
Put the nets in the water.
But during the day,
During the day. And what did Simon say back to him?
a master, we caught no fish.
We caught no
It's like,
We fished
What?
all night, but we
fish
caught
all
nothing.
night and
we
we
got,
caught no
we
fish.
got, you want us to do what? Yeah, but we've already been, I'm telling you, there's no fish out there. That's pretty much what Simon was telling him. But then, what was really cool, what Simon did, I think it was because Jesus asked him, he said, "Because you say so, we'll go ahead and do it." All right. And here's a picture of Jesus preaching from the boat. This is a neat picture. You see it?
Hello, people.
All the people around him.
Are they in
So-
Israel?
Huh?
Are they in Israel?
They're on the Sea of Galilee, okay, which is in Israel. That's up in the northern part of Israel. Okay, and look what happens. You see?
They caught so much fish that the boat is gonna tip.
You see that? All
Hit
right.
the button for this prize.
Yeah. All right. Should we hit the button for that?
Yeah.
Tipper, can you bump it again? Wake up, buddy. Bump.
Good boy, Pepper. You did a treat for me.
We'll have to put a new recording on there like, wahoo, fish!
Yeah. Do it.
Right. So, amazing. Was that amazing? Yeah. Where would that, some of those other words? Stupendous,
He's waiting for his tweet.
marvel, oh, he's waiting for his treat. You know, Tipper, one of these days, you're gonna have to, you can't always be getting treats. Okay. So, there was so many fish, so they went out and they lowered their nets, and it's like as if Jesus called all the fish in the whole sea to come into their nets.
Hey, fishes, come
Yeah.
here, boys. Come here, little fishy. I have some food. Eat the whole entire boat.
Yeah. And so when they went to pull their nets back in, there were so many fish. They were like, "Whoa, we're gonna tip the boat!" And then they called to, remember James and John? They said, "Hey, come out here and help us. We can't get all these fish in our boat. We're gonna sink." And so they came out. So now there's two boats out there dragging all these fish into the boat. And both boats had so many fish that they were almost sinking. They barely made it back to the shore. Would you say that was amazing?
That was awesome.
God bless them not.
Wahoo, fish.
So how high, what line, I'm going to fill it up with a few ingredients. I have about 5 or 6 ingredients I'm going to put in here. How high, tell me where to draw the line. How high do you think it's going to get? How full do you think it's going to go?
It's full.
All right, Eli, you're saying like right about there?
No, right here. Oh, in the bottom.
Okay,
Yes,
so
the top.
put a line up at the top.
Yep.
Does anybody else have a different idea of how full?
Halfway.
All the way to the top.
All the way to the top. Who said halfway? Halfway? All right, I'll draw a line halfway. All right, we've got a line all the way to the top. All right, let's see what happens.
Imagine if it's none of those.
Yeah, so 75% of the way.
Who did? 75%? All right, I'll draw a line for you, Hannah.
I think 50 is
All 3/4 a cup of hydrogen peroxide.
Ooh,
Oh,
that'll help with
I
bowling.
hated when that was on my foot.
Yeah.
Load it up.
Yeah. I've got some goggles up here.
Oh, acid.
Goggles! Yeah, it looks like I'm doing a science experiment, right? I look scary? Alright.
Now I'm scared.
Alright, so,
Nobody's gonna get hurt.
that's right.
Yeah, she's the only one that's gonna get hot.
If I do, blame me.
Alright, so I'm measuring out. I have 1/4 a cup. I'm going to measure out 3/4. So I've got 1. I'm going to fill it up. And I'm going to dump it in my bottle. Alright.
That's like bowling you.
It will.
Hydrogen peroxide, yeah.
Yeah, it burns you when
It's
you're
good for cleaning cuts.
I lost a toe.
Yeah, but
I lost my
had
toenail.
this
Have you used it?
nail that went into my foot, and then like mommy and daddy had to like get it out.
Oh.
A nail? I'd be sick of last.
Alright, how many did I put in? Was that 3? Was anybody counting?
That was 3.
That was 3? Alright. So 3/4 of a cup of that. Alright, then my next ingredient is some squeezes of dish soap. Alright. So I'm gonna hold my funnel. You guys see the dish soap going in?
Yep.
Alright.
It's not getting higher.
It's not getting too high, is it? Alright, now I'm gonna put some food coloring. So 4 drops of each color. Alright. So I've got 4 drops of blue. You wanna count them for me?
1, 2, 5, 6.
Alright, those are some big drops.
I said flow.
Alright. And 4 drops of this.
What color is that?
This one is red. You guys want to count for the red? Ready?
I can't read that.
1, 2,
It's my turn for
3, 4.
Alright. Now, I'm going to gently swirl my mixture around. And actually, what color does red and blue make?
Purple.
Purple. Let's see if we see some purple in a minute. Alright, over here, I'm going to measure out 1 tablespoon. I have a packet of yeast. And I'm going to measure out yeast. It's what makes, when you're cooking bread or dough, this is something that makes it rise and it gets bigger, right?
You just gave it away.
Ah.
The yeast is gonna make that mixture a pickle.
You think? Alright, so 1 tablespoon of
Or
yeast.
maybe it'll just make
Small.
the water more purple.
We'll find out, won't we? Alright, so I put in my tablespoon of yeast. And then in this cup, I have warm water. I got some of that water out that you use to make hot chocolate
Oh.
on the coffee machine. And so it says I need 3 tablespoons of warm water. Count for me.
1, 2, 3.
Alright, I only need 3. And I'm going to stir that up. Alright, so that kind of looks like oatmeal.
Ew.
A little bit, or wet oatmeal. Alright.
Oatmeal,
Alright,
oatmeal.
now I'm going to move all these ingredients off to the side. And I'm going to add the oatmeal, not the oatmeal, the yeast. That's silly. Alright, and let's see what happens to our water
Let me see this.
mixture. Stay where you are.